Well, greetings and joining us at broadcast for a serious important announcement about so, I can't even pronounce her name. Sigourney Weaver. I can't pronounce that name. Okay, I gotta cancel the video. I can't pronounce that. Sigourney. Where does that even name come from? Sigourney Weaver, best celebrity to handle an alien invasion. Uh, that's not by a poll. That's just common sense. And United Nations channeling. So it's like continuation from yesterday. So yeah, it's just pretty funny. Well, Weaver is the one that did. She did stop a couple of alien invasions, so her resume is looking pretty good compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just a bunch of hot air. So yeah. Okay, so this is kind of like another fake title. I just figure I might do another one of these tomorrow. We'll see if I can come up with somebody else. It's not gonna be a whole series just for right now. It's just funny. So I don't know if I'm gonna do it tomorrow about alien planets. Actually, I have an audio. I'm gonna probably upload tomorrow. So radio show I did a recording with. I'll probably do that. I'll probably upload that tomorrow. I'll have to voice the segment that I was on and give myself a break tomorrow night. So alien planets, the names of them. Obviously, we have our names here. Venus, Mars, etc. But on it's like the planet era, as some people were tapping into for Palladian connections. Another one was I might do a title of this to make a video that's more this is not exactly the whole thing here. The subject of this, of course, is about Sigourney Weaver taking over. Anyway, the names of planets. So like Genesis, like names of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Okay, maybe not Leviticus, but Genesis I definitely feel is the name of other planets, like in other star systems. It can be like one or two. It doesn't have to be just one planet named Genesis. It can be several of them. Of course, in Star Trek, they had a planet named Genesis. Exodus sounds like a name of a planet, also. So I'm just going by the books of the Bible. You can go by anything, babe. I'm just going by the books of the Bible. Planet numbers. I'm assuming. I guess you can have a name, but you can have Planet Peter, Planet Mark, Planet Matthew. Whatever. Yeah, the reason I'm bringing it up is just kind of as we go more into the fourth dimension, look at things a little bit differently than what we hear about the planet. I mean, I don't connect to planet names very often, like like the spiritual names, or whatever they call it here through science. Um, but just to put that out there for that energy as we tap more into the spiritual realms of alien connections. Also, I'm going to channel human trafficking. And let's see here. Yeah, it's not in the title, as you can tell. Oh yeah, the themes of a planet. Like every planet has a theme. Now we'll see what I can get from that. So this is kind of a loaded episode, and oh yeah, the thing about predictions too. So when people give you a prediction, or somebody you ask for someone for a prediction, like for like a relationship is usually the biggest one. Like so you give like a description of someone, or you feel like it's going to happen at this date, and that might be true at that time. But when that person hears that, they can reject that timeline. It all depends on the person or what's going on. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. It doesn't really. I mean, it's it's on how you look at it. Yeah, because predictions have their timelines shift a lot. When someone hears it, they want to change to something else. I believe that's very common, actually. So it's just not seen that way. So all right, so it's a little bit scattered today. Not really, but so names of planets. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the Genesis. We'll see. Theme of a planet, human trafficking, definitely, and United Nations and wherever else we head out. From that, I'm not going to channel Sigourney Weaver. I think I said that right, Sigourney Weaver. I don't know. What kind of first name is that? Um, she's got unique, that's for sure. How many of those are around? I think that's where I got the UN energy from. Is from her. At least from some other reality, something like that. So she's like a diplomat. So she's not there to put up with anybody. So she's also a captain of a ship in other realities, which makes sense. So the thing is about the space parasites. Yeah, she's had a connection with them, unfortunately. So that's her story. So yeah, one of her stories at least. Okay. All right, it's diamondtar.com. I have private sessions. I have a shop here. I'm on the 5th for some people and the 3rd for some. Yeah, I'm getting nowhere. I'm getting somewhere, but not fast. Same situation here. We have the webinar. We have webinar tomorrow. Social network, rabbits, and behind the scenes lessons. All right, we just have basically the title. That's the thing. Many in the spiritual communities aren't. Some of them don't have much of a sense of humor sometimes. I did know one person a while back. This reminds me of someone that was like part of one of these spiritual like channeling groups, but like when you went to the hospital, he's getting an upgrade, but he rejected the upgrade and like we were channel beings, and he said that's not real because rejecting the fourth dimension basically. Yeah, just saying that's not real, just shutting everything down. So here's your upgrade, and they turn it down. Just like making Biden president. Hey, we can evolve, but we're just screw that. We're just devolve instead. So always reality is looking for that right now. Okay. We go into. I have a lot of things marked down here. I'm not going to do the Sigourney Weaver thing. I just did. Oh, the alien planets. I'm not sure if that's that important. Well, all right, we'll do some of that. Okay. Greetings to you. We are energies from spirit. Greetings to you. So, yes, soul identity as your planets have. Yes, you're coming from the third dimension where the name. So, spirit beings, yeah, they do call themselves, they don't go around call themselves Jack and Bob and things like that and Elmo, whatever it might be. They pick up on the energy signature, but because of this planet, many of them have added names to themselves. You can say technically they have a name, but they already know the energy signature of beings, so they don't really necessarily have to use a name. As for planets and different types of names, as you go into your awakening, yes, name the planet what you feel. Planet Dolores, Planet Matthew, Planet Genesis. A planet called Genesis is usually about genetic testing, usually. For one example. And there are other planets that are called Earth. They might have a number connected to it. It doesn't mean it's another version of Earth, but it is. and some actually call themselves Earth for various reasons. So names of yeah, as you go into your spiritual development, a name of a planet, just like naming your spirit guide. If there's a home planet you feel like you're connected to, it doesn't necessarily have to be called Era, as many do identify themselves with that planet in the Pleiades, but there's plenty of other places you can connect with. As you go deeper into your spiritual awareness, it's going to get a little bit confusing. There's planet Ezra, there's all different types of worlds out there, and even the different types of Zeta worlds, Palladian worlds that are just names that I can't fully pronounce. So calling it name Planet Peter or even Planet Leviticus. Leviticus actually has an artificial intelligence energy connected to it, just to give you an idea. Leviticus can also be called a robot. Doesn't necessarily have to be connected to your Bible. So it all depends what reality you're connected to. Exodus is, usually it does have that energy of well, it depends. Yes, a prison planet name. No, so that's not always the case, but it's another way for you to identify different planets. Basically, as you go into spiritual awareness, this will be something that will be easier for you to identify where you come from or places that you've been. So, oh yes, for themes for planet, yes, every world has a certain theme. Yours is soul growth, deep soul growth. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but that's self love, soul growth. Other planets have it, but basically, a lot of planets are for beauty. It's like inner beauty, a lot of the inner beauty coming out. So they just work on their looks all the time to bring them different types of. That's why Anunnaki worlds are worlds of beauty, where they're trying, they're always working on the genetic testing, things like that. But the Palladians, it is some of their worlds is about athletics. Like, you're a great swimmer or you're very good at certain types of sports. It's just like exercising the human body. Of course, that's some of their themes, but of course, your world has a various different connections of themes here. But think about if you're on just a sports planet, like all you do is sports. You're expected to do sports, and that's it. You learn from university, you learn how to read, write, you learn about history, or you learn about science, but sports is your main thing. Think about that. Or a planet where it's a police planet where everyone has to be a policeman, or a war planet where everybody has to be in the army. So, give you some idea. With your Syrian, actually, Sirius is about spirituality. Of course, all planets have a spiritual direction, but actually, Sirius is very spiritual. It's very connected to your Middle East, and it truly goes. It's connected to water, connected to your dolphins, connected to your canines. It goes very deep into spirituality, deeper than a lot of other star systems. Lyra with the felines, it is it's combat, it's love, it's beauty, it is inner relationships, like knowing that person for who they truly are. Like be able to see. That's why cats just seem to, even dogs have adapted to this, but cat people are known to like see right into your soul instantly. And the canines are going about it a different way, but they can do the same thing. So felines are usually developed in a way of seeing the spirit realms pretty easily. Even in the third dimension, they're here. As you can see, the felines here see things differently. Think about a humanoid feline in the third dimension. They can still see spirit beings floating around, things like that. Doesn't mean they get along with each other, but they can see things differently. To give you another idea. All right. Blessings to you. We're going to human trafficking. Energies for you at this time. Blessings. Greetings. Yeah, trafficking consciousness of, yes, taking away one's rights, taking away one's identity. Yes, and putting a number there for the soul not to know itself. Basically, is to take away the soul identity, emotions, looks, everything, where everybody looks plain, everyone practically looks the same, unless you want to doll that person up. So basically, everyone become pale and unusable until they are needed. Yes, it is a hijacking of the spirit. Now, the beings that do this, of the hijacking of the spirit, normally don't have future incarnations. A lot of them show those that are, they feel like they have no purpose in life, in their existence, so they do human trafficking energy. Some of them are archons, some of these beings, and this is another showing of darkness disappearing from your earth, meaning as you more know about human trafficking energy, and more you're here to heal it, more people are aware of it. Is yes, it clears out the energy. So those souls attached to it that are causing it usually exit not just this reality, but existence in general, unless they want to change and heal themselves. Well, not many do that. They themselves have lost their identity. So you have human trafficked beings trafficking other human trafficked beings. So yes, there's an insectoid connection there. There's many different beings that are connected because they've been all the species have been through it in some form or another. So you're just learning it from yourselves. To unlock your planet is to know about the human trafficking energies. Yes, it is the money of the elite to an extent, but the elite that use these children as bargaining chips know it's against their karma, as they cannot break free from it. Once you get involved with this, there's no going back. Even if you just know about it to a certain extent, like your Jeffrey Epstein is trying to actually redeem himself due to exposing himself and exposing the deep state around him. Doesn't mean his soul is completely cleared of this, far from it, but at least they can redeem themselves in some form, which doesn't make them perfect. But if you're doing horrible things, but then you bring out some light, it does look good on you, at least for that. It does give you a good vibration, even if there's still a lot of darkness there. If the soul it turns into cancer. It just shows that there is light within the soul, because a lot of souls that do this have no light within themselves anymore. Yes, they turn complete evil, where they just don't care. They just lost their purpose of existence. So trafficking humans means like it's like cattle, it's like an animal. It doesn't matter. At least with cattle, what's happening to your animals here, at least it's known. What's happening to your humans are not known. Not well. I mean, you can look it up at least what happens to the animals. With the humans, you look it up, but it's still a lot of skepticism there. So as more of that becomes more of a light of what's happening, the more it will end. And humans are learning from the lessons of it. So many humans that will turn their back on it will eventually have to face it in some form or another. Doesn't mean they have to be involved with it or trafficked. Some will choose that because they felt so bad of not knowing about it. It all depends on the soul. Or just become more aware of it. Not everyone has to know all details of it, but some are humanitarian, especially in a world like this. To heal that energy is, it's just it's human. It's humans are family, even if they're not blood family. It's still family. It still matters. There's just so much darkness here, as you can see. There's your dictators, your government. Your government feeds off the human trafficking energy. Um, but it only lasts for so long. As you see, your presidency is breaking down in the United States, and the human trafficking energy, you see, will do the same thing one day. Well, it will start to mess up. We become so arrogant, it can't hide itself completely. Yes, the human trafficking beings are on trains, yes, and trucks, but a lot of it is trains too. Trains that you never know where they're going, never know what's going on with them. And of course, boats, of course. But a lot of it is underground, of course. A lot of it's in Europe. Of course, we said that before, but Europe is where A lot of them where they get tagged and traded, and they look like normal people, of course, you know, but it's kept quiet, as you can tell. But the human trafficking vibration, even yes, your Palladians are doing what they can, all the alien beings, but the Palladians feel more connected to it because it's usually their people that are involved with it, meaning the ones that are trafficked. So just a Palladian traffic, a Palladian being is just there's a high dollar, a high price for that because the energy is connected to it. So yes, many of your politicians are aware of this, but they're paid to look away, but not all of them. Some of them are working quietly on it. They most likely would never surface that they're involved, but they want to feel. They want to save their soul. I mean, if you're a person in power and you become aware of it, it's a humanitarian crisis that is ignored or hidden, mostly hidden, as you can see. Even some of these wars, like in Yemen, some of your human traffic people that are not wanted anymore are put into a war zone, so to get rid of them. Yeah, so the wounds are deep there, as you can see. Wounds that are within your planet. Some of you feel those timelines. So you do see chemtrails in the skies, but you don't see the human trafficking energies that are done in the shadows. So human healing that vibration, that's what your world healing, human trafficking healing is much needed. Of allowing those timelines to be seen instead of hidden, allowing light to be brought to those timelines. Now we don't have a timeline of when this will be brought into light because it's still up to humanity. I mean, they can still learn their lessons here, but it's nice for this to become into light. There's only so much it can do on this planet. I mean, yes, it's clouding the minds of many. It's causing a lot of drama here. So many souls are. It pulls in lower vibrations to keep the physical going, but you can still keep the physical going without all this darkness. This darkness has to have a reason to exist. So it's feeding humans to feed. It's feeding off of humans, as you know. We're here to release those timelines. So, yes, it's connected to religions also, so it can heal the religious energies. Of course, they're not always fully aware of what's going on, but some are. Brings you. We are the United Nations. Yes, there's a lot of reptilian energies of the United Nations, a lot of arrogant people in the United Nations, a lot of things hidden, of course, a lot of drug dealing going on. Your United Nations is not much different than your CIA, just the United Nations, we'll call it the UN. The UN is legalized mafia, basically. Yes, your elites are at the top. Normally, they do not make themselves known, but sometimes they do. They're normally very protected by Secret Service or by government. Government is usually protecting your elite, but the government isn't always aware of it. Meaning your government, has protections, but they're not always full of their protections that they're paying for. So the elite make sure that they're well protected in all forms of another and not even known. Like they're ghosts, basically. They're here physically, but they're basically a ghost in the system. It's connected to your Jesuits, but it goes much deeper than that. Yes. Your UN, yes, is your, of course, those that are aware of your aliens obviously keep things quiet due to the subject matter of national security because the aliens are used weaponized to some degree for propaganda purposes. Like they keep it hidden because they want to use it for an agenda in your future, such as an alien invasion of some kind. Possibly. They always want to have that in their back pocket. Yes, they can leak more information out and make it even more known and not even make a big deal about it, but they want to keep it for an agenda, as some of you can probably feel. It's always agendas, isn't it? It's not just it is control your planet. Even if they make alien knowledge known, as long as they control the narrative, that's all that matters. And they can do it organically, meaning it doesn't have to be a government to bring it out. They have enough connections to alien beings to even the alien beings to appear. Even alien beings sell themselves out to a certain degree. So we feel like it'll be mostly leaks at this time because they have not quite figured out the agenda at this time. Not yet. As you see, your US government is going through a transition at this moment. There is a new Illuminati energy there that has not fully made itself home yet. It has been integrating for some time. Well, it takes a while to put a new agenda into place. But your UN is a part of secret wars, basically. So it's the same as your CIA. UN and the CIA are normally against each other, not usually for each other. There are some that are, but yes, a lot of espionage between the two of them. The UN is very connected to China. Like your Muslim population that's in prison right now in China. Those Muslims know more than what they know a lot of things. Basically, that's why they're in prison. They're not just in prison because they're Muslims, because what they know. Not necessarily has to be alien knowledge, but it's not. They just make it. It's like a black site, basically, meaning like off the books type of site. Technically, I mean they're allowing it to be known, but obviously there's much more going on than with political prisoners, things like that. So at least it's linked to political prisoners overall. But the UN itself, yes, has to redeem itself. And the UN itself is a galactic group overall. There are Pleiadian, Syrian, some are positive, some are not. The different energies intertwine into it. For your humans to become more aware of it, for even your UN to start to slip up and bring alien knowledge to your planet. As we believe some will. They just say the hell it, we don't care anymore. And start whistleblowing, possibly. Not just yet. They've been thinking about it. They just don't care anymore. Yes, they have families to protect, but some just don't feel like, I mean, they know they're the target anyway. It is a national security situation. Yes, many meetings are done in Russia, usually Siberia area. For the most part, it is very secure. Doesn't mean they're connecting to aliens on a personal level. Some are, but normally they don't have full access to it. Within your a lot of your UN people are fully aware there's an alien presence here. They just don't talk about it. Not publicly. They know something's going on. Of course, the US government has the strongest ties to it. One of them at least. And China does too, but China is not interested in unless it suits their interests. There's a possibility, yes, for China doing a disclosure moment when they feel like it's necessary. They're getting a lot of intelligence at this time. They're not about to make it public anytime soon. Yeah, that's all they're going to say on that one. So you are breaking out timelines. So yes, you're in an age of basically of government officials, yes, talking more. It's been happening time to time, especially with some of your astronauts. But when you have your UN bring up, yes, your Israel prime minister did it also. Like many are on the way. Many are thinking about it. They just don't. Yeah, they literally don't care. They can't live with themselves. Some can. It's like before I leave, I'm going to say something. Thing is, who knows when that's going to be? we're just saying this for you to connect to the vibrations of it. That's all we have at this moment. Wait, there's another entity here. What's this? Greetings. I am the planet Genesis. Well, I am a consciousness. Yes, of world of genetics on different types. A lot of it is plant genetics. Different plant lives, different plant beings. What can be made from a plant? Of course, your alien beings learn about it, and they generate actually a lot of of knowledge from plants because they grow similar to plant life. It might not show it physically here, but it's not much the same. It's not much different. Even like a human can be similar to a tree, where you can live for thousands of years. It all depends on how you're genetically designed, though. Overall, so your just world is not aware of it, but yes, having nature, that's where aliens come from. Nature and humans, aliens can figure that out quite a bit. Humans and nature here, from your world's perspective, is still a mystery. This is why you have alien beings that have done this. They connected to nature, they connected to human, connected to the ape, and so on. It all configures, but yes, it's quite complicated. Your Bigfoot is an example of that. Of basically genetic engineering similar to nature, for example. Of course, you have your dog man similar to that also. Well, there are shape shifting beings, which humans here can technically shape shift, but hasn't been fully activated. So your Atlanteans were aware of human genetics along with nature, and obviously human nature came into play, which that's something even Atlanteans are still trying to figure out. Some of them are. Well, no one ever has anything completely figured out. So why are humans are so third dimensional? Yeah, it's not. It's manipulation, but also the humans ask for manipulation themselves too. Not everybody, but quite a few. Well, when it comes to you're going to bring in aliens here, many humans will bring more negativity to themselves. Like we don't want our aliens. We want an earthquake instead. We're angry. We don't want the aliens. Well, it takes away from their TV, them trying to get Botox, things like that, giving up and going to work because they're learning a lot from that work, from that school. And you bring in the aliens, like now their whole world is jigsawed and out of control, and it's not the same anymore. But you're seeing a change right now of school changing and adapting, where it's kind of going to exploration. For example, in the work situation, a lot of things are coming into its exodus, literally. Into a new era where integrating to aliens is a high possibility. Yes. Well, where else you have to go? But it's canceling out the old belief systems, which takes time. It's like your movie theaters, like your iPods, things like that. Now you go to the phone. Eventually, go from the phone to telepathy, things like that. Like you have your old video recorders. You're not using the old ones anymore. Not to go into details, your 8 tracks and things like that. You're not going into details of the, you know, you're not using old technology, new technologies, and now you're activating technology within the human, basically. That's your next evolution. Obviously, it's a slow one. It takes that's you can't put yourself on a showroom floor. I guess you could, but not really. Well, basically, you'd be teaching each other how to do telepathy more, become more part of society eventually. Like you'll go to a show, but somebody actually teaching telepathy and talking to you all, and you're talking to that person. An event you could say, like Vegas. That's the new learning. That's the new school. Eventually, levitating also. Even flying, yeah, eventually. That'd be the new school. So your phones will be so primitive, and basically your abilities be connecting to other planets. Some of you're already connecting to these places already. You're just not integrating into your life because you have to survive. So you have the survival instinct. So you cut out a lot of your alien connections for obvious reasons. It's all about survival, but eventually that will